Good day, everyone. My name is Suzzette Dawes. I'm an author, blogger, cake decorator, IT consultant, etc. Today, though, I'm here to share some of my poetry with you at the Sunshine State Book Festival. Lately, I've been combining poetry with painting, like, for example, this one here. It's called Scurvy Dreams. I did an oil painting, and it's also a poem in the waves. Before that, I would combine photographs that I took, like of my garden or if I'm out and about traveling, and I would manipulate it in Photoshop and then add some words to it. We'll get to that later. Now I'm going to go ahead and read you this poem, Scurvy Dreams. Many a sailor have sailed these seas, often without enough vitamin C. When they have been gone for many moons, the sight of my tail has caused them to swoon and mistake a manatee for a mermaid due to scurvy dreams. Now you must be wondering, when did I start writing? I remember writing poetry and short stories for a long time. The issue was I would have a notebook and sometimes lose the notebook. Luckily, I found some and included them in my poetry book, The Collection. It is a compilation of poetry from my teenage years growing up in Jamaica, to immigrating to the United States, to experiencing culture shocks such as going to high school here in South Florida, to going to college. I went to Broward College, I went to University of Florida. It also includes some typical life rights such as love or lack thereof. Here's a poem from the collection. I will let you decide what type of poem it is. It's called Dreams Raining in My Sleep. Dreams raining in my sleep, as I twist and turn and weep. My wet pillow cling to my face, while I fall from a high place, never hitting the ground but afloat. On the briny as storm clouds rock my boat. My eyes popped open when my father said, "It's all right there, there's no monster here." Dreams like candy in my sleep. Everything around me is so sweet. Trees, shrubs, and all touches my skin like lace as I walk through a pretty place. In the park, as robins sing to me, I look in the eyes of my beau and see. My sister called it out to me. Wake up, lazy head, and get out of bed. After college came work. I learned a lot of lessons, such as don't confide in work, friends, if you don't want to be a topic on the grapevine. My advice now is to be polite to everyone, but don't get overly involved. Find friends outside of work to confide in, etc. In my next book, I have two short stories about two cousins, Georgette and Bernadette Shaw. Now, you see what I did there. I also was influenced by George Bernard Shaw and his plays. But in my case, my two cousins immigrated from Jamaica to the United States. It opens with a letter from Georgette to Bernadette. Georgette writes a notebook of poems which she shares with Bernadette that chronicles her work-life imbalance. Here's a poem from Tortured Soul. It's called Nothing But Time. Nothing but time to spare, because I dared to walk away from that dreaded place with the terrible people. Think about the money, they said. It's a paycheck, something to survive, to pay the bills. And take a toll on my health is this life. So I dare to throw my cares to the wind. I try hard not to look back, but I've got time to think. Did my walk cause them to talk, or did they just keep on their merry way, doing the same thing day after day? So now I have time to ponder and reconsider when the bill collectors call. No money but time. Nothing but time. Nothing but time to think of those traders. Stabbing at every chance to claw ahead. Nothing but time to shudder and try to forget and find a new life. Speaking of finding friends, activities outside work, I started to go to open mics to read poetry. I even started to host an open mic at Savor Cinema in Fort Lauderdale. I started a garden with roses and hibiscus. I had taken a community class for Photoshop. And the result of that is this Adventures in the Courtyard. And then here's one of my lovely Photoshop artwork with the poems on the stones and the flowers around it. And those flowers are actually from photographs or pictures in my garden. So this one is called Flowers in My Garden. It's influenced by what was going on at the time. If you recall, Newton, the school where they had an incident. So this one is called Flowers in My Garden. Flowers in my garden with bloom so bright, red and yellow hibiscus flowers open as if to welcome the sun. Yellow roses smiling with morning dewy kisses on its petals. I pause to admire. I pause from my routine dash to work. Flowers in my garden with blooms so bright, some blossoms, not yet flowers, fell to the ground. They could not bloom into flowers. I stopped to reflect. I stopped to reflect on our times. It's hard to think of Newton and other children being hurt instead of nurtured, not maturing into adulthood, like blossoms that fell to the ground. Blossoms that fell to the ground, not maturing to beautiful flowers, not given a chance to bloom, unlike the flowers in my garden. Now, at this point, because I'm trying to go chronologically how I develop these poetry books, my timeline gets a little jagged because I have passed my work woes by this time. I have a day job, then there's volunteering, hosting open mic, gardening, writing, and all this I do after work. But I had some time to reflect, and with 78th Avenue, you know, I was living in South Florida. I left South Florida, went to live in New Jersey, and then returned to South Florida. I even dedicated this book, 78th Avenue, to the prodigal sons and daughters and welcomed them home. Here is a poem from 78th Avenue. It's called Finding Northwest 70th. Before I could see what was already here, I need to go there, there, and there. Searching for that rare pearl or gem, I traveled by road, sea, or air. I know you thought that I followed them, but the travel bug had bitten me from way back when. I used to sit and stare at that old encyclopedia, and I started to dream of traveling. It was a tragic at first to come back home. I thought life is done, no more places to explore. Then one holiday, I saw the signs on the road that led me to my mother's and then my sister's home. I wanted to go the back way. I'd avoid traffic on major roadway. I'd found myself on 17th Avenue, then found my way to my mother's house. There must have been an accident on University because a lot of cars were passing through Brookwood. So we took the back way to my sister's home, and I found myself again on 70th Avenue. It was haunting me, taunting me, on the route I chose to follow. I may have some regrets for yesteryear, but I still have hope for tomorrow. As an open mic host, oh, there's my lovely cake. Yes, I do like baking, and it was delicious. As an open mic host, I get to meet many people, and I wanted to do something to immortalize that experience. Therefore, I invited some other poets, and we collaborated on Bards of Broward, the Courtyard Chronicles. This next poem, which is included in the Courtyard Chronicles, is dedicated to my father who passed in 2016. It's called So Many Tears. So many tears I've cried, yet I'm not done. Not because it's election year and dirty. Slings are part of the game, as people shun and shame and play guilty games for country. So many tears still welled up inside of me, not because people are so self-centered that they can't put the cell phone down even when someone is right there helping. We all think of our own needs and not of others. I'm no different with things I want to do, as I wish to see all the world has to offer instead of spending some time to visit you. So now I cry for all I can never say, and I wish you had lived even just one more day. Thank you for spending your time with me at the Sunshine State Book Festival. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and please enjoy the rest of your day.